everyone. Recent incidents in India have brought to the forefront role of police and its methods in handling them. Police image and perception has taken a further beating. Need of the hour is to bring in professional and impartial response from the force, that too without compromising rule of the law and with better transparency. Today, we have on panel ex-DGP Vikram Singh Sir and Wing Commander Sushil Kumar with us to discuss on this topic. I welcome both of you on our channel today. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be on your wonderful platform, and I would love to interact with my young friends.
Thank you, sir.
नमस्कार, जय हिंद। आज हमारे बीच डॉक्टर विक्रम सिंह साहब हैं, जो कि एक तेज तर्रार पुलिस अफसर की व्यक्तित्व रखने वाले और इनकी छवि एक बहुत ही कड़क पुलिस अफसर और एक ईमानदार पुलिस अफसर में गिनी जाती थी। और ये एक एजुकेशनिस्ट भी हैं, ये मैं आज आप लोगों को ये भी बताना चाहता हूं। और इन्हें बहुत सारे पुलिस गैलेंट्री मेडल्स भी मिले हुए हैं। That goes on to prove how effective and efficient he would have been when he must have been heading the police force of Uttar Pradesh. Sir, welcome to our platform, and we'd love to have you. It's my privilege to host you, sir.
Thank you, Wing Commander Sushil Kumar ji. As I said, it's a privilege to be amongst such wonderful youngsters.
And sir, to begin with, as Priti has said about the recent incidents, as you're aware, sir, the things happening right from Tamil Nadu to UP to Maharashtra. These are the three ones which are in major limelight. I will not name them to keep the sanctity of the decorum of the platform we are discussing on. It has created some kind of perception issues, sir. What police is, how it works, what are the problems, why it is not behaving as per the perception what the people and the press is having about it. So if you can highlight those issues and enlighten us with your knowledge, deep inside knowledge, sir, it will be a great benefit for the students and us.
Certainly, these are compelling questions, and I would like to, my painful duty would be to identify the specific instances, because unless you identify the problem, there cannot be an incisive analysis. And if there is no analysis, we do not address the problem. For too long have we swept the problem underneath the carpet. The Tuticorin police station outrage in which the father and son were done to death by police brutality. The Vikas Dubey so-called encounter in Kanpur. Also the Hathras gang rape case, as also the Delhi and the Bengaluru riots. These are horrible fault lines in the police system that need to be addressed. Our police system dates back to 1861, and the inbuilt infirmity was injected into the system then and there itself, because the British wanted to have an oppressive police force, a non-friendly police force, a police force that was exploitative and not a friend of the people. The problem started then and there itself. They gave their bobbies, the British police, the most friendly police on the planet, no weapons whatsoever. But to Indian police, the weapons that they gave to their army, they gave to the Indian police also. And every instrument of oppression was injected into the Police Act of 1861. What is now required are police reforms, a humane face of the police force, a professional police force. The days of the lathi and danda are far gone. What worked yesterday is just not going to work today.
Sir, the police force plays a major and vital role in maintaining rule of the law. It's a major arm of the government. Nobody can survive without it. The society needs it. And sir, as you rightly said, we are going to change the perception and we need to implement certain changes. So sir, what is the roadmap, sir, in your point of view, which will give us this change, and how much will it take, sir? What is the likely timeline, sir, which you feel, sir?
Great question. You may realize that our training and our laws did not change for almost 130 years. Beginning from 1861 to 1980s, there was barely any change in our pedagogy, in our training, in our weaponry and tactics. In fact, they said to be study or to be highly qualified is an impediment to be in the police. And it was said that perhaps over-education and over-qualification was an impediment in the police.
Yes.
It is gratifying to know that today you have the best and the most highly qualified young officers joining the police force from the level of constables who are LLBs and LLMs, BTechs and MTechs and MBAs. And also in the level of the IPS, you have the students from the best educational institutions in the world joining the IPS. Because the fact remains, we had no training in the course of my 36 years of service. I barely had 4 to 5 training, because training was considered not very essential. But today, the technology, the changes, the nature of crime has changed so drastically. The cyber crime, the inputs of the technological innovations, the technical aids to investigations are such that unless a person revisits himself and trains himself constantly, he would be obsolete in a matter of 2 years.
Implementation of police force is long overdue, sir. We have gone to the courts, the police officers themselves have gone to the court, the Supreme Court has issued directions. Why is it still lying dust and it's not being come out in the open? And where is the reason it's got stuck, sir?
You see, police commissions have been there, and there are any number of police commissions, beginning from 1902, the Fraser Commission, to the Dharamveera Commission. The Dharamveera Commission was by far the most elaborate recommendations in respect of police reforms. Then you had the Prakash Singh recommendations made by the Honorable Supreme Court, the 7-point recommendations. Mr. Prakash Singh went to the Supreme Court in 1996. In 2006, the Supreme Court gave very clear and absolutely crystal cut directions, 7-point directives to be implemented. Now, what the Supreme Court says should be the law of the land. But ultimately, a sitting Chief Justice of India said, what can I do when the Chief Ministers of the state are not cooperating? Another Chief Justice of India said, police reforms keep on happening and they never happen at all. We have the Ribeiro Commission, we have the Malimat Commission, we have a Padmanabhaiya Commission. Commissions have come and commissions have gone. But as far as police reforms are concerned, nobody seems to be seriously interested. Irrespective of any political party in power or in opposition, every political party who was in power did not try seriously to implement the solemn orders passed by the Honorable Supreme Court in the year 2006. They continued to languish the way they were in 2006.
Yes, sir. So, sir, do you think that understaffing at national level and state level, especially in the bigger states like UP, could be the major cause of this crisis?
This is a contributory cause. Almost every police force, including that of UP, has almost a vacancy of 30%. And at that 30%, you would feel that it is very difficult to distinguish the recommendation number 4 of the Supreme Court to separate law and order from investigation work. But for that, you have to have the total strength. If you don't have the total strength, you make do and make shifts and work in an emergency mode all across. But in an emergency mode, you cannot function till eternity. There has to be some semblance, some rest, some relief for everyone. Weekly holidays have to be there. But when you have a 30% vacancies, the police force works for 15, 16 hours. Then there is no vacation, then there's no recreation. This builds up tension, tension builds up stress, and stress leads to depression, and depression also unfortunately leads to suicidal tendencies in very many of the officers and men. And such unfortunate incidents are known all over the country where people have harmed themselves. So you very rightly said the number of vacancies is staggering 30%, and this needs to be addressed immediately.
Yes.
Especially UP being such a huge state has about 50%, almost 50% shortages of staffing. That's definitely a major contributory factor, sir.
Indeed it is.
Sir, when we talk of shortages, it is majorly found in the constabulary and the supervisory level. I presume, sir, that the IPS structure is there, complete and in full force. So, sir, what in your opinion is the need of the hour for the senior echelon of the IPS to take on the situation more handsomely and be more aggressive and fearless in their approach to handling any situation? What is the problem at that level, sir?
You're very right. The police and the IPS officers are supposed to represent the steel frame of administration. They are supposed to represent the central, the might of the Constitution of India, totally committed to enforcement without fear or favor, the rule of law. And if it does not happen, it will create a very scary situation. Why is it not happening? It is not happening because the cult of expediency chalta hai. what happened in Hathras is a typical example that the cult of expediency, that do what you think is going to give you immediate results and dividends, not necessarily what is the rule of law. I would give you a specific example. It was the duty of the police, including the police leadership, to have ensured faithful and prompt registration of the FIR. Did not happen. Incorporate all sections of law. Did not happen. Send the deceased, at that point of time, the victim, for medical examination in the company of women police officer immediately. Did not happen. Prompt visit to the scene of crime. Did not happen. Then statement recorded under 164 before lady magistrate. Did not happen. Then to say that gang rape did not happen, why were you on the side of the accused? You should have been on the side of the victim. Rather than, you should not be on anyone's side, you should have been on the side of law. And the law states, when the victim came to the police station, her FIR should have been faithfully registered, incorporating all the sections, including that of gang rape. But that did not happen. I would not like to go, but there are multiple fault lines. Now you questioned about the police leadership. The police leadership should have come down like a ton of bricks on the delinquent police officers. Section 166A of the Indian Penal Code has been incorporated to register a case against the delinquent police officers who failed to respond in such situations, and there's a provision of jail sentence for 6 months and dismissal from the job. Are you in some kind of a popularity contest? Why did you not lodge that FIR? Then action under the UP Gangsters Act and the National Security Act against the accused did not happen. Unusual cremation of the deceased's body at the middle of night without taking the family into confidence. Under what rules? Then surrounding the house of the victim and the family for 72 hours and not allowing anyone to visit there. Under what rules? This shows three things: the cult of expediency, playing to the gallery, and probably perceiving that we should do what is profitable and what not is proper. An IPS officer is supposed to do something that is proper and not what is profitable. And in the process, they also lost out. Let this be a lesson to every prospective public servant and especially IPS officers. It is always better to do something that is proper. An upright officer knows what is proper and not what is profitable.
So now the court has taken cognizance of it. The ADG, law and order, all senior echelons, including SSP, DM, have been called, and they have to go and explain it to the court. People and media were, as it is, asking questions. So don't you think, sir, that the reward and punishment mechanism right now, as prevalent in our governments, like if you don't do a good job, you are just posted out. If you do certain things as per the liking of the ruling government, you are rewarded with a plum posting. Isn't it, sir, one of the reasons which should be immediately addressed and can be addressed through either a court ruling or through a tribunal?
I put a fundamental question to all civil services aspirants. Your claim to the service is your paycheck from the President of India and nothing else. And if that be the consideration, all postings are good. It is not for you to say that this is important posting, this is unimportant. If your concern is only the paycheck from the President of India, all postings are equal. But if you are eyeing wherever there are creature comforts and where there is a glamour and where there are five-star hotels, then you are barking up the wrong tree. The public service is not your cup of tea. It's better that you try for business or something and be in the business. Civil services, you have to be frugal. You have to be upright. You have to be intellectually straight. And let me assure you, 36 years, no politicians have had the better of me, because my concern was only with the paycheck from the President of India, nothing else. And if that be the case, all postings are alike. You should be honorable. At the same time, you should be polite. Make no mistake about it that you're not supposed to, rub your political leaders or the public representative on the wrong side. It is not that. And mature man, a person with dignity, a person with the family pedigree and training will never be rude, abrasive. To the contrary, he'll be the most polite man, most courteous person in the organization, known for his courtesy and good manners. But as tough as nails, always.
Sir, what is your opinion about formation of a civilian complaints review board, as was suggested by the Supreme Court also, wherein it is formed as a supernumerary to overlook the performance or the excesses anywhere if it happens. Is it possible that it can be implemented in our country, sir?
Wing Commander Kumar, I forgot to answer one part of the question last. I will try, if with your permission, I'll try to answer that. Prompt rewards and prompt punishments are so important for upholding good morale. To say that punishment to be delayed, people will say that he is a very royal officer and he does not punish. It doesn't do good to the organization to be just goody-goody. As Napoleon had said, a person and a general who doesn't punish is like a grandfather. He'll be loved but never respected. It is not the job of a senior officer to be grandfatherly. His job to be a no-nonsense approach to administration. Prompt rewards, prompt punishments. As the saying goes, एक हाथ से इनाम और दूसरे हाथ से सजा, और दोनों तुरंत एक न एक प्रसाद जरूर मिलेगा, एक न एक प्रसाद जरूर मिलेगा. दूसरी चीज, as you very rightly said, that the police complaint authority is recommendation number 5 of the Honorable Supreme Court. And that is an imperative, that something external. It is not that the police internal boys club conducts the inquiries of their own. No, for the sake of transparency, fair play, and also justice must not only be done, but must seem to be done. That is why the Public Complaints Authority and the Police Complaints Authority is not an option, it is a compulsion now. Firstly, because the Supreme Court has mandated it, and secondly, for the sake of transparency, it is imperative.
And sir, before we move on to the next segment, one last question, though slightly a touchy one, sir, but with your permission, sir, what do you think, sir, about the relationship of IPS being slightly subservient at the district level to the IAS? How is it affecting your performance of the force, sir?
I'll tell you, if you're professionally competent, and again, I said, your concern is only with the paycheck given by the President of India to you, nothing really matters.
Yes.
You will be respected by everyone, by the IAS, by your political people, by the engineers, by the doctors and everybody. But if I have some hidden agenda to feather my own nest illegitimately and dishonestly, rest assured, it is not just the IAS. My PN and my sweeper are sufficient, and my driver to finish me and my career. I have to be honorable. Every civil servant has to be honorable. He has to be dignified. He has to be absolutely upright. And if I'm frugal,
thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your insight on this issue. It's been really an eye-opener for us to hear from such an accomplished officer who is more academician than a police officer, I will say, sir. I hope you don't mind this adjective which I have given you, sir.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
And sir, in the next segment, for our viewers, we'll be discussing how we can implement technology and how we can reform the Dandamart police image from a Dandamart to a technologically techno-savvy police force. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
For more such discussions, like, share and subscribe our channel, and also hit the bell button for our upcoming videos.